if my dad actually took care of himself
Mhm.
and not always the company that he worked for 36 years and the family. And if he did that, maybe his mental health would have been in a better place. Maybe he wouldn't have felt so run down. It's not just all about high performance and high accolades. It's about living a fulfilled, rewarding life.
Anytime someone said something wasn't good, I made it better. Like, because I had so much shame in not being perfect. So many of us go after success, go after more money, more cars, more thing. It's just an addiction. It's just a distraction from the insecurities and the fears that we're trying to prevent anyone else, really ourselves, from noticing. Welcome to the High Performance Human Podcast, where high achievers learn to master themselves, not just their success. I'm Creighton Bertrand, a certified high performance coach, here to share practical tools to rewire your habits and mindset. If you're ready to move beyond good enough and step into real transformation, you're in the right place. Let's get to work. I would agree 100%. And I did Tony Robbins. We did a bunch of Tony Robbins. And then I went and did some guru stuff, Sadhguru. And I went and did Joe Dispenza was my jam because he was very scientific. And so I could hold on to metaphysics and quantum physics and all this. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, this all makes sense. But what I've found for me was so liberating and was so hard to do as well is if I follow the biblical principles of like what's asked of me, of denying my flesh, like I find that I'm always making the right decision. Whereas when I try to justify things, like, because you're talking about, my brain would be like, well, in this scenario, because of this, and God wants you to be happy, and this, you should go do it. Or if I went into my heart, like, what do I feel? Well, I'm feeling, I should be happy. I should seek pleasure. I should whatever. I noticed that I wasn't making good decisions that I didn't regret, or the decisions that didn't harm others. But now I try to go to my truth of like, okay, well, what does the Bible say about this based upon this? Okay, it's not about what do I feel like doing? Because I think we would both agree that when you wake up in the morning, you don't feel like meditating. You don't feel like going to the gym. You don't feel like being nice to your kids when they're annoying you or whatever. I think our lives are so much better when we're able, and this is where the Bible talks so much about denying your flesh. And right now I'm actually going through a 3-day fast of I love to do things to force myself to break the habit of following my feelings.
So good. And to segue for a moment, where are you at in your fast? Because a lot
Day
of people.
2. I'm on 2.
Okay, so you are literally my favorite day. Day 2 is amazing. The amount of energy I bet you have right now is like.
Well, we're having a good conversation, so that always piques me. So yeah, there's a little bit of that. But I have a hard time when I always say when I reduce calories or carbs to not compensate with caffeine. So I try to limit that, but today this is my second flask. So yeah, I'm feeling great.
I have so many people, and this is what I find really interesting about people. This happens all the time, whether I'm doing a 3-day, 5-day, 7-day water fast. People are like, I could never do that. Yeah. That's the first answer I'm not even asking them to do it. They're like, I could never do that.
Why would you want to live your life going off of what you can't do? Like, if that's your premise, if that's your identity, your justification for, like, there was a time where you couldn't walk. Like, my kids hate this because they'll always say, oh, I can't do this. And I'm like, you used to not be able to talk. You used to not be able to poop your pants. Like, what if you just believe that for the rest of your life? Sorry, keep going.
It's a great point. It shocks me how many people put these self-limitations like, I can't. Well, you're right. If you say you can't, you can't. Now, I don't care if you want to or don't. If you don't want to fast, don't fast. I don't care.
Right.
But you might want to remove that and say, I choose not to. Fantastic.
Yes. Take ownership. Take ownership. This is, yes, JM, this is what I want for society. Instead of saying you can or whatever, stop being a coward and finally own up to it and say, you know what? I'm choosing not to lose weight. I'm choosing not to be healthy. I'm choosing not to be the father. I'm choosing not to be the husband that I should be doing, instead of blaming and say, well, I just can't.
Look, there's only 5 things a human being has to do. We have to breathe, drink, eat, sleep, and eliminate waste. Those are the only 5 I know of. Everything else is a choice. Your relationships, it's a choice. Your career, it's a choice. Where you live, it's a choice. And this is what I hope people take out of this. You get to choose. You don't have to do anything. And I try to correct myself whenever I say I have to go do this. No, you don't.
Right.
I'm choosing to go to work. I don't
Yeah.
have to. And
Right.
there's going to be repercussions, right? Like if I choose not to go, yeah, there's repercussions. I'll lose clients. I may lose money. I may lose my house.
Right.
Those are all repercussions. But I'm choosing to go do this. And when you do that, when you change that just a little bit, it's like so empowering. And so it's one of those things that I really have become very mindful, especially over the last, like, I think since losing my dad. I really think of this when it took shape, where it's like, I'm going to be really mindful of what I say because we are conditioned to say, I can't, I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry.
Yeah.
I'm not.
I'm
not.
sorry I got caught is usually what you really mean. I do that with my daughter all the time. She's like, I'm sorry. I'm like, are you actually sorry or just sorry of the consequence? She's like, oh, I don't like the consequence. I'm like, yeah, then don't apologize.
It's like, look, own your thing, whatever that is. So again, when somebody passed away, we're so used to say, I'm so sorry. Well, guess what? Now I'm saying, I'm sending you sorrow.
Yeah.
Instead, say, my condolences. I'm sending you and your family love.
Yeah.
That's actually now reversing it from a negative statement to a power statement.
Yeah.
But if you watch the way you talk, and I watch people all the time,
Yes.
I can't, I have to. It's like, dude, you are completely disempowering yourself every single day just by talking the way you're talking.
Do you feel like when you were in your slump and not taking care of yourself, that was more of your vernacular of you using those type of verbiage of I have to go do it? And I think that's one of the things that justifies us to keep going. Well, I have to keep doing this. I have to do this for, and then we make up ridiculous things like I have to do this for my family. Dude, you're literally losing your family by going and doing this. It's so crazy how we create this whole story.
No, every morning I would say I have to go to work. I mean, I remember it, and I would let everybody feel sorry for me. I have to go to work. No. Let's be clear. You get to go to work, or you get to choose, which I finally, once to circle back, once we repaired our relationship.
How long did that take?
So we got back together after a year.
And you guys were working through that year? Because it sounded like she left, then there was 4 months of you kind of had an aha, I need to take some ownership. And then obviously we're going to have a remainder 8 months there. Are you working on it?
About month 7, we start dating slowly again.
And how freaking beautiful is that?
I mean,
because that's a choice. You could have chose that I don't want to put in work. And this is what I see from what you guys have done. It wasn't about what was easy, what was about convenient. It was none of that matter. None of that mattered. The only thing that mattered is you guys were choosing to put in time, energy, and effort to recreate something that was broken. And what a beautiful gift.
And you know what? All credit to my wife to begin with, because the truth is, had she not done what she did, we're not together today. She chose to fight for us.
Yes.
She chose to say, get the heck out. And she also chose to let me either go away or come back and start to rebuild.
About courage.
Oh, dude. I mean, if you ever meet her, she's a little 5'2", little Asian gal. She's just a badass. And she's got a huge personality.
Yeah.
So we make zero sense. Like, I'm 6'5", she's 5'2", from totally different backgrounds. And yet this is my person, right? But what's interesting, Creighton, is like, how fast can we lose that person?
Yeah.
I lost sight of this is my person like that. And, you can really diminish and break trust so quickly, and that happened. And then you know what, you have to build it or not have to build it back. And so we started dating again about that 7th month, and by about that 12th month we knew we want to be back together. And to finalize this whole thing, after we were back together, that's when I realized I'm choosing to sell out a company too, because it's toxic for me. Again, not the wrong people. We're crushing it financially.
Right, yeah.
But it wasn't good for what I was looking for. And I got to build the next company. And then I got to sell from that and then start Let's Go Win. So they're not easy choices,
Yeah.
but they are, for me, the right choices. My North Star is like, you know what to do. You may not like the answer. You may want to sit on a beach and sip Mai Tais the rest of your life. Like that
Would
would have
you
been.
though? Is that true? Like I run into so many guys that are like, I just want to retire and do nothing. And I'm like, then after a week, what are you going to do? And I always press them. Your addiction to wanting to do nothing is the reason why you're never actually going to get there. Until you break that habit that you just want to be a sloth and sit around and do nothing and lie to yourself that that's what you want. Until you break that habit, you're never actually going to get to what it is that you desired. You have to be wanting to put in the work. You have to want to do something.
I think I'd last about 3 days. I mean,
Yeah.
truly 3 days of no purpose. Maybe I'd even make it that long. I don't know. But anyway, these are all choices. And so I got to choose to write the book for Let's Go Win, and which is created what it is today. It's been a crazy fun ride, but you know what? I wouldn't take any of it back. That's the other thing. People ask me all the time, would you take it back? Hell no.
Why wouldn't you
sucked.
take it back?
These are all learning lessons. And I say this often to people I'm coaching. I'm like, when you're getting your butt kicked,
Yeah.
just say thank you. And I know
Yes.
people are
Amen.
like, really? Yes, man. Like that's growth. You
Yeah.
are about to go through growth if you
Yes.
can see it the right way.
Yeah.
Even with my dad, I wouldn't wish it upon anyone. And yet I have a zest for life that I don't think I could ever get without the
Wow.
way I lost him.
Wow.
And it's awful. Again, I don't want any family to
Yeah.
go through it. But that perspective that I now have, that would be the gift that came from it.
I mean, I know people probably aren't wanting this, but that's fine. I mean, I go back to Jesus on the cross. Same thing. Like the ultimate sacrifice, the ultimate terrible thing was used for God's glory, for something bigger. So like when I used that as my truth, it makes every suffering that I go through know that it's going to be something. And going through, my wife and I, we had to do the same thing. Like we were about to get a divorce. We went 6 months of doing stupid date nights. It was so miserable to go to a date night with someone that you were just literally a roommate with and pretend that you cared about what they were doing. I remember sitting there and just being like, oh, what did you do today? Like, yeah, I could care. Like, can I get out of here? But it took us like 6 months. It's 6 months of every Friday we did this silly date night that it was like, oh, hey, what did you? And you could start to see this thing start to blossom all over. And man, like, what a beautiful gift. Like, I wouldn't trade that for the world, but it was so miserable. It was so hard. But everything that is good in my life was the same. My kids, we have 4 kids, every single kid up at night, doing all these things, pushing you, challenging you, miserable. But without that misery, it wouldn't be as beautiful as it is. Whereas all the things that were easy, like they weren't worth having. So if we could just change our mindset of like, where am I embracing suck today? Because the suck is necessary for the success that I'm really looking for. If you want it to be easy, this is what I always tell people when I'm coaching, like, oh, I want it to be easy. I'm like, then just stop trying. Go sit on your couch. Like you could literally sit on your couch and watch Netflix. Go do that for a month and tell me how you feel. I can show you what psychologically is going to happen to you when you do that. You're going to get depressed. You're going to get all these things. Like there's just science behind it. So don't lie to yourself and say that I just want to do nothing.
And I guess as you're talking about, I'm thinking of the 2 or 3 things that I always do that I know are hard. Every morning when I walk the dog, I put on my 60-pound weight vest and I go walk the dog for a mile and something. There are so many days I'm like, nah, I don't want to put that weight vest on, man. It's so much easier. Just put the leash on. Let's roll. But I'm like, I don't feel like it's a challenge. And then I come back and I hop in my cold plunge and that sucks. I don't care how many thousands of times I've done it.
I agree with that one.
The first 30 seconds suck. I don't care, man. It sucks. And then the reward, that the next 3 minutes of I'm like, oh, so freaking good.
Yeah.
And that's, again, going back to what you mentioned with the flesh and needing things right now. Like if you're just able to just go, I don't need that right now.
Yeah.
I'm going to choose to do the cold plunge or the weight vest or name your hard thing. Just go start. And I promise you, it's going to feel great eventually. It may suck in the beginning, but you may as well face it.
I want to see what kind of habits or hacks or shortcuts is literally what everyone's looking for. When you wake up in the morning and you don't want to put on the vest, what pulls you to do what it is that you want, not what it is that you feel? And this is something that I'm such an advocate in all my coaching is F your feelings. Let's focus on what you want. How do
First
you
off,
pull
I guess
yourself?
part of it is I literally can't get the leash without touching my weight vest. So the atomic
Okay.
habits, like James
So you
Clear,
set up your environment.
it's right there, right?
Yeah.
And I think I know how great it's going to feel when I do it. I know all the reasons. It's kind of like jumping over a hurdle, right? This is the best example I can give. That's a 42-inch hurdle, man. I don't have a 43-inch vertical. I'm not jumping over that.
Yeah.
But if you just start moving a little bit, I can easily jump over it. Same thing. It's like, look, I don't want to put on that weight. Okay, now I'm good to go. Let's just roll. And if you can just like stop yourself for a second and just be
Yeah.
like, stop thinking about it.
Yeah.
Because again, we're up in our hut and up in our brains. You know how you're going to feel. Let's just focus on that. And it's just, I guess it's become so habitual now that I don't even think about it.
I'd say it's your identity now at this point. You've identified I'm someone that either does hard things or I'm someone that every morning, this is what I do.
I believe you're absolutely correct. It's kind of like people ask me, oh my gosh, how do you meditate every day? Or how do you do breath work or Qigong or like
You do Qigong. I love Qigong. Yeah.
every day, man. When I say I'm only doing 7 minutes of Qigong every day, I'm doing 7 moves, but it's one for each chakra. And it's like, that's my thing. Same thing with my yoga. I do 7 poses for a minute and a half. I've set it up so it's realistic for me to do every single day. And I'll tell you the other biggest trick for me, if I miss one day, I don't beat myself up. What a piece of crap you are. You missed this. And I used to. I remember, this is so silly now. I think about this. My goal was always to meditate for 10 minutes a day. And if I didn't choose to find 10 minutes, I used to think, you are such a piece of garbage. You blah, 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 blah. It's like, that's so counterproductive to the whole reason that you're meditating.
Yeah. And it's such
And
a cop out. I feel like so many people, this because I used to beat and it's like, what a coward. Like by doing that, you're just feeding that fuel that's going to make it so you don't have to do it anymore. Oh, I am a failure. I never do it right. Like, woe is me. I'm the victim. Like, okay, cool. So just say that you don't want to do it and get it over with.
I love because you always call it a coward. It's exactly right.
It
right?
is.
It's the exact perfect verbiage to say like, no, you're just being a coward. That's it.
I wish someone would have told me that because I thought I was being alpha and I was dude, you can't even be honest and tell your wife that you don't like this certain thing. Like mine was so bad that I prayed every single day for my wife to leave because I didn't want to be the one that was responsible for breaking our marriage. I needed her to be the one. And I was so good at suffering. I was like, I'll suffer for the rest of my life. I will never divorce this person because I thought that I, needed this family and all this. And I remember when I went to my therapist, she goes, it's so crazy that you're the one that you've given up on your family. And yet your wife, her name's Fernanda, that she's coming back and willing to do whatever it takes to make it work.
She's the fighter of the two. That's beautiful, man. Owning it at the end of the day. Own your stuff. I guess that's kind of everything we've talked about.
I think choice. You did such a good job of talking about that. Literally. And I think that we take this for granted that going back to my wife, Fernanda, and I know every day she's literally choosing to be with me, whether she recognizes it or not, because there can be a day that she finally chooses. And I used to think that that was ridiculous. And I remember I was talking with one of my buddies one time. We're walking and I was like, man, yeah, you're so lucky that you have your life. And he was an engineer as well. And we're talking and he's like, well, I have to. This is just what I am. And I'm like, no, that's not true. Because actually, my wife's dad's dad, one day, I think he had 4 or 5 kids. One day when he was like 5, he said he's going to go get milk and cigarettes. He chose not to come back. That was it. So it literally is a choice. And the same thing, there was a day where my wife was like, I'm choosing not to put up with this anymore. And I think that's the thing that so many of us are forgetting and neglecting, of thinking that, oh, this thing's guaranteed and it's always going to be there. And that's not the case.
I'll tell you the other thing that I think would help if I'm sitting here listening, because at a point people are probably like, okay, guys, I get it. And I get it, right? Like, here's what I will say. This is my favorite thing that my wife and I have done. I have given her complete permission to call me on my stuff.
Yes, amen.
Now, I do show up like a victim sometimes. And this is when she says, "Are you being a victim right now?" And I'm like, "Oh, yep." Or if I say, "I have to," she's like, "Really? You have to? Or you get to?" And the point is, we're all human beings. We're fallible. We are going
Yes.
to make mistakes. Own that as
Yeah.
well, and give your partner in life, your accountability buddy, whoever you spend the most time with, give them permission to call you on your stuff so that you can show up as the best version. And that, I will say, helps me every single day, because I promise I coach on this stuff and I mess it up all the time.
I think that's why we do it.
Totally. Totally. And it's so great when you give people permission, like, "Hey, call me on my thing." And I promise you, your feedback is gold. So I hope people do that, because you're going to make mistakes, and thinking that you're not, I promise you, we are all fallible, and that's okay.
And I think the biggest part of that, of people calling you out and exploiting your shortcomings, your failures, is knowing that you get to choose. Like, I think so many of us are afraid of it because we're like, I don't know what to do about it. And like, woe is me. This is just the way it is. But just like any of us believe our name is our name, the only reason why you believe your name is your name is because you have neural pathways that have been established over years of you saying, "I'm Creighton, I'm Creighton, I'm Creighton, I'm Creighton," that eventually you're like, "Oh, I identify as Creighton." So if you can believe something as rudimentary as your silly name, which isn't really real, you can do the same thing for any other habit, anything else that someone else, your wife, your kids point out, "Hey, daddy, you did this. Hey, you're doing this." Well, do I want to keep doing that? What choice do I act? Who is the ideal version that I want to be? I don't know how to be it. I don't know how to be perfect at it yet, but I'm going to choose to try to be different next time. And then you're going to fail. And then your spouse or whoever is going to say, "Hey, you failed again. You know what? You're right."
Yeah, it's so good. And as you're talking, I'm thinking of the things that I've also done for my kids, that, like, my kids have said the exact same mantra every single day of their life when they go to bed. And over the last 7 years, I've given them the same mantra every single morning, because to that point, the world's going to tell you all the things that you're not. And we want to completely tell ourselves. So I'll give you the most basic, easy one. It's, "I am whole, perfect, strong, powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy." I said it so many times. My kids get that text every single morning. And the point is,
Yeah.
what you just said is, let's create that neural pathway that knows that I am whole, perfect, strong, powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. So that it doesn't matter what the world says. I know that's who I am.
Yeah.
And that's where people mess up with these whole mantras, or they're like, "Well, but I don't feel that way." Well, guess what? Through sheer repetition,
Yeah.
you will.
And I think that's one of the biggest gifts that God's ever given us, is that, we are created in his image. I really do believe that we have the ability to create any form or any version, any identity of ourself that we want. But so many of us are dealing with shame that we're hiding. So we're never actually growing and willing to suffer to get to something better. And so doing exactly what you're talking about, like, man, what a gift.
We can't change the past, so stop trying. You actually can't change the future, by the way. So why don't you just live in this present moment and just give it everything you have and let the chips fall where they may? That, oh man, when I was able to do that, it's like, I cannot change what I did. I can't.
Yeah.
I can only show up better right this second. I actually can't change what I'm going to do in the future. I don't have any control of that.
Yeah.
But this present moment, I have everything in my power right now to show up as the best version of me. And that's the point that you're saying, like, you get to choose your story every single day.
Every second. Every second I get to choose. Do I want to be happy right now? Do I want to be intentful? Do I want to be present? Or do I want to be drift? And this is what I do love. I remember when I started meditation, this was so big for me, is I realized meditation is just a way to reset myself. Like, I'm drifting. I'm thinking about, no, come back. No, I'm drifting. Come back, Creighton. Come back. It's just a constant come back, come back, come back, come back. And I realized that I get to do the same thing all throughout my day. Oh, I'm angry. Do I want to be angry? No, I don't. What do I want? I want to be loved. Boom, I'm back. And then I drift. I'm angry, I'm yelling. Do I want to be yelling? No, I'm come back, create. And I think it's so important. And I love what you do. This is something I always coach my clients on. Like, who do you want to be? Who are you? Who have you felt? What was your past? Not what you were, but what is it that you want? And write that out each day and say, you know what, I'm going to do my best to try to become this version today. And I'm probably going to fail, but I'm going to try. And I had one client that he took it so seriously. He wrote it down and he put it in his phone and he had it show up 5 times throughout the day. And he's like, I'm a totally different person in just 1 week because he just kept reminding himself, this is who I am. It's just like I was talking about writing your name. The first time you write your name, it's really weird, but you do it over and over and over again. All of a sudden, if you're hanging upside down, if I take you to Antarctica and I'm torturing you, I'm like, how do you spell your name? You're like, Jay. You don't have to think about it. It's just who you are.
Again, the science backs up what the guy did, right? First step, write it down. You're 60% more likely to accomplish that. Seeing it every single day, you're 80% more likely. So if you want to lose 30 pounds, don't just think it.
Yeah.
Write that down, 60% more likely, and then put it in your phone, put it in your bathroom mirror, put it somewhere you're going to see it. Now you're 80% more likely to lose those 30 pounds than if you just thought, I want to lose 30 pounds. It's simple, and yet people choose not to do these things, and then they don't like the results. It's like, again, this is your choice. Choose to write it down and look at it every day.
Well, I would have to push a little bit. I agree 100%. But at least for me, I would always hear all these rainbows and roses. Oh, just do this, just do this. And I study a lot of sport, if you haven't gone into this. But like one of my favorite things is studying sports psychology, because that's how do they take these people and make them do inhumane things, because they have to push their mind past what they feel like. They have to push their body. So I love to go into what are the tactics and what are the principles that they use to get these humans to become essentially inhuman, because they don't feel like running. They don't feel like practicing every day. And that used to be my justification of, oh, they're just different. No, they just know how to use their mind to do what they actually want. But one of the things that changed a lot for me is I'd always hear people say, oh, just do all these things. But one thing that they do in sports psychology a lot is they talk about embracing the suck. And so it's not just writing everything down of rainbows and roses. I'm going to be 30 pounds lighter and everything's going to be great. My genes are, but this is what they do for athletes when they're doing their races. Not only do they visualize the end and the feeling of winning, but they rehearse and practice for the suck. Like, what is it going to feel like when you're running 100 miles, you're at mile 90, you're dehydrated, you have to take a crap, you're cramping. What are you going to do? Like, I want you to get in that moment, because if you've trained for every part of the race, you're going to succeed. So I would add to that when people are doing all this stuff, not just like, oh, I want to be happy and I want to be this. Like, okay, I want you to think about that moment when your kids are screaming and your wife's yelling at you and the day was terrible and you're behind on your payments. Like, who do you want to be in that moment? And what is it going to take for you to remind yourself of, oh no, I want to be happy. I want to be grateful. I want to see this. So actually have a plan in place for implementing that.
Yeah, no, look, the Benjamin Franklin, if you fail to prepare, you prepare
Yes.
to fail. So visualizing these things where, again, my son plays college tennis. You lose more than you win in tennis. We talk about this relentlessly. Like, don't just visualize all the great things. Know that you're going to face adversity. Know that it's going to suck. And to your point, Creighton, it's like, now what? Now, how are you going to show up? What is your plan for when the country song plays, when the girlfriend breaks up with you, the truck breaks down and your dog dies? It's like, look, that's going to happen. That's life.
Yes.
And now what?
Yeah.
What is your why? Why is it so important that you lose these 30 pounds? Why is
Yes.
it that you want to do this? And so it's a huge point that you bring up.
Yeah, I just wanted to throw that in. I'm obviously it's what you do, but I just know when I always hear rainbows and roses, sometimes it used to make me so mad, because it's like, I want to believe in that. I want to do that. But when I do, it still just doesn't work. So I just want to throw that in there for that person.
No,
It's like,
Huge point, brother. Again, there's so many. I feel like you and I could talk for 5,
Yeah.
6, 10 hours on
we
this.
could just
but
go over a relationship. Like, never losing sight of the thing that is the most important to you. And I would challenge anyone's listening. It's like, if you say that you're a family man and your family's the most important, when's the last time, like what you were talking about? I think maybe it was Dan Martell that was telling me this, but to go through and ask for feedback. I've asked my wife, babe, scale 1 to 10, how'd I do this week? Maybe you're a 1. Ooh, that hurts. Okay, what could I have done better? Not that I'm going to go do it, but I want to know what it is that it would take for me to be a 10 in her eyes, because her version of a 10 is totally different than my version of a 10.
You just literally gave, when people ask why can I double company's revenue, is exactly what you just said. Ask for feedback and don't take it personally. Just know that this is a gift.
Yes.
I'll give you a great example. I have this neighbor. He makes you feel great. He always like $500 bottles of wine and he makes you feel great, but he's always how great you are. It's great, great, great. Mm-hmm. Then I have this neighbor. She is not kind, man. She is rude and she is blunt and brutal. But if I were asked them for real feedback, you know, the one that actually gives me the stuff that helps me grow, it's the rude neighbor.
Yeah.
It's not the $500 bottle of wine guy. Trust me, that feels great.
Yeah, yeah.
But
that's the flesh.
It's funny because my wife and I, she's like, I just don't like, I'm like, I get it. But I trust her so much more than I do, I'll call him Ted. Yeah. I don't trust Ted at all. Not that he's a nice guy, but he's not helping me grow. I don't know.
Sarah.
Good name. Sarah. There you go. Sarah is absolute gold. And I trust her because she is willing to give me the hard, real feedback. And I think sometimes people lose sight. One of the worst leaders I've ever been around, he wanted yes men around him. And I just watched it just destroy this amazing company. Instead of having real around you saying, hey, you're not as great as you think you are. Here's where you may be screwing up. That's gold. Yeah. Those people you want in your life.
Yeah. And it goes back to like, are you courageous enough to hear the feedback and discern what is it that you actually want to listen to? Because I'll do this with my kids. I'll be like, hey, how did daddy do this week? Oh, I think you were a 3. I'm like, oh, okay. Can you, instead of just throwing a temper tantrum, right? That's literally what little kids do. And this is what most adults do. They hear something bad and they shut down. Well, you're an idiot and you're only 5 and you can't even go through the day without me helping. Like, all right, are you done with your temper tantrum? But I've asked her sometimes, like, hey, how did daddy do? And she's like, oh, I think you're a 3. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like, why do you believe? Well, you didn't buy me that toy. Oh, that's why? Well, how did daddy do as far as being present and playing? Oh, yeah, that was all fine, but you didn't buy. Okay, cool. Thank you for I love you. And I'm not going to use that. Like, that's her interpretation. That's fine. But I know who and what I am, that I'm not going to let that sway me. And I think that's one of the problems, that so many people are afraid to get it because they don't have courage or they don't have confidence, whatever it is, to discern which is valid and which isn't, and what they want to actually start to change.
So you just said my favorite word for the last 3 years is discernment, because I am somebody that just opens my heart to everybody, and I used to just let everybody in. And then I started to realize, like, that's kind of stupid, actually, right? Like, it's fine. Don't be judgmental, be open, but be very discerning as to what you allow. Again, it's a choice.
Yeah.
And I've had to really learn that word. I've really had to understand, like, again, I was a sunshine and rainbows guy, even if it was the worst of the worst. I'd tell you how great it was. No, that's not true. I've had to learn that word, discernment. And I think that is a huge, I mean, talk about, you know what, the next time we talk, we're going to talk about discernment a lot, because it's such a huge idea that I know I didn't understand it until, I had to learn it after many, many failed relationships, failed things. And again, I have to own it. I wasn't being discerning. I wasn't really clear on what my boundaries were. And now once I have that discernment, it's like, you screwed this one up, Jam. And that's fine. Now I won't the next time.
And what a beautiful gift that information and feedback is, so that now I can decide, what do I want to do moving forward? I love to go to the roots of most of it. I think most of us are so afraid because we don't want to hear this stuff, because we really don't believe that we can change it. So we want to put our heads in the ground, because if we don't know, then we're not aware, then we don't have to change something that we don't think is changeable. But knowing so much of what we know about science, about neuroscience, that like you could literally change anything. I mean, I can't become 6 foot. I'm only 5'4", so that's not going to happen. But for the rest of the stuff, as far as identity, beliefs, habits, any of that is changeable. And once I found that out, it just changed my whole outlook of like, whoa, give me all the feedback so I can see. This is something that I love to do, and you might do the same thing. I love to go, you're talking about the 5 different things that we have to do. I love to challenge, like, where am I having certainty in these areas? Like, I have to eat. No, you don't. Oh, I have to go do this. I have to. I want to break my addiction to thinking that I have to have these fleshly things, because I don't want my flesh being in control of my decisions.
As you were saying the word change, and this is a shameless plug, but it is what it is. The reason I wrote my 3rd book called Upgrade is people hate change.
Yeah.
People hate it.
Why?
I accepted that. And I was like, okay, cool. I'm just going to flip the word to upgrade. We love to upgrade. People upgrade their cell phones every single year. Oh, brother, it changed my whole coaching career. It went
you mean it upgraded your whole coaching?
It just made everything so much easier to be like, now you're open to the idea versus before, if I'm saying you need to change, felt very judgmental, felt, I'm going to protect. Hey, would you consider upgrading? And they're like, oh yeah, I love to upgrade.
Yeah.
Boom.
Oh, that's so good. Isn't it so crazy? When I find out things like that, it just goes to show me how silly we really are.
I mean, if you look back, we are pretty basic at the end of the day. People react typically instead of respond. The whole reason I meditate is so I respond. I don't just react. 100%. That's literally why I've done it for years, is I want to respond the best that I can. And you're right. Like, we are hardwired. I didn't like to get feedback. I didn't, like, most people don't love getting it. But to your point, you feel that cringe. Your immediate reaction is, well, screw you. Or you're just like mad or angry or defensive.
Right.
But you have, again, kind of responded to say, okay, that's gold. Thank you. Which is the perfect response to every feedback. Thank you. And now you discern whether you want to take it in or not. But it's not like I came out of the womb saying, dude, give me great feedback. I promise you, the guy that was separated, he wasn't loving feedback at the time, but then grew to, love. Oh, wait a minute. Now when I own this stuff, life is getting really, really good because I'm willing to look in the shadows. I'm willing to look at where I'm not doing great in my life.
You're not hiding anything, because I feel like going through your life that way, you're just living in this life of shame.
Totally. Absolutely. And Brene Brown writes a ton on that, where it's so spot on. It's like, shame that's not a great place to be.
No, I think that's like the ultimate sin. Like, I mean, how can you have a loving and abundant life if you're going around hiding and living in shame? Because then you're just going to try to hurt and do whatever you can to protect yourself and protect from people finding out all the skeletons that you're keeping in your closet. So do you think that there's anything going back to when you were younger in company 1 or 2.5 before you kind of started to make this change? Do you think there's anything we could have said to that version of you that you would have actually listened? Because I have a feeling that my greatest wish for anyone is, I hope you suffer more.
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously where our greatest learning lessons come from. I get this often, and I say it often, remove the mask. I wish at some point somebody had just told me, look, man, let it go. And I say this, I'm like, look, masks are meant for parties. They're not meant for real life. Like, when you can take that off and just show up as you, oh my gosh, look how easy this becomes. Look how, like, it's not hard to show up as me. It takes zero energy or effort. It's just, here it is.
Can I push on that? Because I think going back to what you were saying, I do something very similar at the beginning. I always ask people, what are 3 things you love about yourself? No one knows anything. And I go, okay, cool. Tell me everything you hate about yourself. Boom, here's this huge list.
That's crazy.
That I think one of the starting is like, who do you want to be? Because you're saying, oh, take off the mask. If I go back to myself when I was in my 30s, I didn't know. I had so many masks that I didn't even know who was behind the mask anymore. Like you start to believe that the mask is like you've convinced yourself that I'm an engineer, I'm successful, I'm money driven. I'm like, none of that was actually who and what I actually was. So would you agree? Like, I think that there's so many people that they don't even know who they are anymore. So that's so scary for you to say, well, take off the mask. Like, I don't know what mask I'm wearing.
Yeah. So yes. And labels, guys, they're meant for boxes. They're not meant for people. If a label serves you, I'm a dad. And if that makes you a better person, great. Own that. That's great. But here's the one I hear like I'm shy. It's like, well, are you actually shy? Or is that just what you've been told by your mom, dad, brother, sister, friends forever? That's probably the case. And so I'm with you on that. We adopt and we take on and we inherit all these things.
Yeah.
And here's what I would tell you. Like, look, if the identity you talked about before, if you being an athlete or being a runner or being a reader, if that serves you, own that and feel free to use it. But if it's like, I'm fat, I'm shy, I'm scared, get rid of that stuff, man. That is not supporting, typically, to your point, who you want to be. And that's where you get to upgrade your story. And you can say, I am whatever you want to be.
Yeah.
Because you get to choose that every single day.
This is one thing that I love to try to support people. Like, all I want to do is for you to be unapologetically yourself.
Yes.
At the end of the day, I want you to live your life going back to harmony. I want you to do everything you can today. So at the end of the day, you are unapologetically yourself and you don't regret the things that you did. Like you're talking about seasons. Like, okay, well, this season, I can't be at the gym for 8 hours a day, or I can't be with my family for 8 hours. I'm doing this. So based upon everything that I have, this is what I did. And I don't regret it. And so if you are shy or whatever, like, and you love it, awesome, keep it going. But like, go through, take stock of like, what is it? And I think this is why God gave us feelings. They're just indicators, not facts. They're not freaking facts. Just because you don't feel like it doesn't mean you shouldn't go do it. But it's just an indicator of like, well, let's use some discernment here. Is this serving you? And really, does this glorify and serve God, in my opinion? But is this serving you? And if it isn't, what do you want to, I love it, upgrade? Or do you want to upgrade? And if you don't want to upgrade, just be freaking honest and be like, you know what? I'm choosing this. And that's fine.
I could just continue on with this because my best friend, and he is he is totally good with being that guy sitting on the couch. That he owns it.
Awesome.
And I'm like, dude,
I don't want him telling me how I should be physically either. And that's what I love. People that are like, hey, this is what I want. But then I always want to break it down. And I love to do psychology on people. Like, is that true? Or is this just something that you've settled with?
Now you're going down my favorite three question. Is it true?
Yeah.
Why do you believe that?
Yeah.
How is that showing up or serving you?
Yeah.
Those three questions on any self-limiting belief, just ask it. Is that true?
Yeah.
Why do you believe that? How's it serving you today? And when you do that, oh man, you may not like what you hear. You may not like the answers to everything, but you have the actual answers to any challenge that you may have.
Is there any advice that you think that you would have wanted to hear, you would want to give to your kids, for anyone that's listening that maybe we hadn't gone into yet?
I would say have a growth mindset at all times, which, by the way, I sometimes don't. Let's
you
just
for being
own
honest.
it and really be open to people. I remember at one point, 27 or 28 years old, I remember saying, I don't need any other friends. Do you know how stupid that is?
What was your identity belief at that moment of, I don't need them because...
I mean, everything is just, how can I fit more friends into what I have? There's 8 billion people in the world. Like, do you understand how simple-minded and non-growth mindset that was?
Yeah.
I cringe to think that I actually said that out loud at some point. Now I realize, and this is what I tell my kids, be open, meet new people, want to continue to learn, because there's so much. And I'll go to my death, and when I die, I will have never learned everything I want to. It's impossible.
Yeah.
And that excites me.
And I think that's what it is being curious about what other upgrades we can make in our life. Like, I know the version of myself now is so much different than the 30 that I remember someone asking me, like, hey, because I'm 41, I'll be 42 next month. And someone asking me, like, oh, are you excited about your birthday? And I'm like, I cannot wait for my birthday at 50. The version, as long as I keep doing what I have been doing, of, I like to use the adage of replace certainty with curiosity. Anything that I feel like I'm certain about, I want to challenge. Why do I believe that? What would be on the other side if I did it differently? That I just think, like, at 50, like, that version is going to be so much different and so much more excited about things that I'm excited to grow older. Like, all the upgrades that I've done, like, give me 10 more years of this? Like, yes, please.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, look, you're going to have a really rewarding life going through it that way. And I hope people adopt that, because it's a way to look at it. I mean, with every wrinkle and gray hair that you get, guess what? That's experience that you can't buy.
You don't even have any. What are you talking about over there?
Bro, I do. I promise. I keep it so tight that it's hard to see it.
The lighting's doing a good job over there.
Yes, it is.
I definitely have to change a filter or something. Well, JM, dude, from the bottom of my heart, man, thank you so much for coming. This was such a joy for me to talk to you, and I totally winged it. I had some things that I wanted to go into, and I'm just so grateful for where we took this conversation. I think it'll be very helpful for so many out there.
It's 100% reciprocal. Thank you for having me, brother. I appreciate it, and I look forward to continuing. Helping you in any way, and vice versa. You're just an awesome guy, and this is why I love podcasting.
And you never know which one you're going to get. And that's the thing. Sometimes I love the adage of, you have to have the bad in order to appreciate the good. And sometimes I'll have some other people that I'm like, oh, okay. And then it's all worth it for finding someone like yourself. For anyone that's out there that wants to get in touch with you, your books are amazing. Where can they go to get the books? Obviously on Amazon. You have your own website.
Let'sGoWin.com. As you said, it's on Amazon. And if you look up Let's Go Win on any social media platform, I'll be there. And I will say, guys, if you actually reach out, you will get a response from me. I love to interact.
Case in point, I did.
Thank you, Creighton. This was a lot of fun.
So thanks so much, brother. I appreciate you so much. God bless to you and your family. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, brother.
You as well.